很多来参加我们活动的男士呢，心里都会有这样子的疑问：空姐的择偶需求到底是什么？
Hi everyone. Many men may have a question in their minds. What are flight attendants' preferences and requirements when it comes to choosing a partner? Today, as a flight attendant, I'm here to answer this question and satisfy your curiosity. First of all, there are some misunderstandings and stereotypes about flight attendants' views on choosing a partner. Some people guess that we only pay attention to first-class passengers, or they think that the other half of a flight attendant must be a pilot or captain. Others believe we only like luxury cars, mansions, and a lavish lifestyle. In fact, these are stereotypes about the profession of flight attendants. In reality, our thoughts are similar to those of many ordinary women. We all hope to find a trustworthy partner and build a life that is relatively comfortable on a foundation of reliability and stability. However, due to the nature of our profession, our work hours and rest schedules are often highly irregular. If our partner's work hours are completely fixed, or if he frequently travels for work, the time we can actually spend together will be very limited. On the other hand, if the partner's work schedule is relatively flexible or allows more freedom in time arrangements, it would be more ideal. In summary, an ideal partner for us might look like this. Under the age of 35, with an annual income of over 500,000 yuan, and unmarried. Of course, these standards are not set in stone. If the annual income does not reach 500,000 yuan but the family's financial situation is good, that is also acceptable. In short, we value the compatibility and potential for mutual effort between two people more than rigidly adhering to specific standards. I hope my explanation can help everyone better understand the views of flight attendants on choosing a partner, and I also hope that everyone can find a partner who suits them.
是单身吗？
是单身好久了。
Yes, I am currently single and have been single for a while. I am 26 years old, 1.68 meters tall, and approximately 1.73 meters tall when wearing shoes. At the moment, I work for an airline as a flight attendant. As for my preferences in choosing a partner, I like men who possess an interesting soul. Appearance only needs to be passable. The most important qualities are being interesting and sincere. Regarding height, I hope the other person is taller than me, as it would make me feel more secure. As for age, I don't mind if the other person is younger or older than me, as long as the age gap is within 10 years, I am fine with it. In terms of income, my requirements are not particularly high. As long as the other person's income is slightly higher than mine, it will be fine, because we need a certain economic foundation to be together. Regarding my family, both my parents are in business, and our family situation is relatively relaxed and stable. In my daily life, I enjoy sports, especially those that are challenging and fun, such as tennis, golf, skiing, and surfing. These activities not only make me feel physically and mentally happy but also allow me to better enjoy the pleasures of life. This is roughly my current life and status.
小姐，你是哪一年的
？2000年的。
Hello, everyone. I was born in the year 2000, and I just turned 25 this year. Currently, I am already working. To be precise, I have been working for 4 years. During these 4 years, I have been working as a flight attendant. Looking back, since my first year of work, I joined an airline company and started working as a flight attendant, which I have continued to do until now. So, I can say that I have some experience in this field. When it comes to my criteria for choosing a partner, I think I value a person's character the most. As for material conditions, my requirements are not very high. It's enough if the other person's financial situation is decent. Specifically, my annual salary is about 190,000 yuan, so I would prefer a man whose income is at least double mine to be more suitable. Moreover, I do not have any particular requirements for the type of job he does, as long as it does not involve frequent business trips, because frequent business trips could affect the time we spend together. As for my own job, I fly to various destinations and do not have fixed routes. Although the company's headquarters is in Hangzhou, I mainly work at the Hangzhou branch. However, my flights are not exclusively based in Hangzhou. I feel that although my work is busy, it also makes me feel fulfilled. In my leisure time, I enjoy shopping with friends and occasionally playing some games, which are relatively relaxing activities. Regarding my partner's hobbies, I don't think they need to be exactly the same as mine. As long as his hobbies are moderate and do not interfere with life, I am fine with them. If he occasionally drinks a bit of alcohol or goes to a bar, I can also accept that, as long as it is not excessive.
As for my plans for marriage, I still hope that my partner has a fully paid house of his own, preferably in Hangzhou, because my current work and life are mainly based there. I am originally from Suzhou, Jiangsu, a place with a rich history and culture that has produced many great generals. Although I work far from home, Suzhou has always been my root. Regarding my past relationships, I have been in 2 or 3 relationships before, with the longest one lasting over a year. The main reason for the breakups was a difference in values. Although we tried to make it work, we ultimately couldn't stay together. I also think that the nature of my job as a flight attendant does impact relationships, such as spending less time with my boyfriend. If my boyfriend lives in Hangzhou, I think meeting 2 or 3 times a week would be a reasonable arrangement. This is my current life situation and some of my thoughts. I hope to find a suitable man to build a future together with.
今天呢，我们来聊一下空姐哈。
Today, let's talk about the profession of flight attendants. In the matchmaking market, flight attendants are not as sought after as people imagine. In fact, they are often at a disadvantage. Logically, most flight attendants are good-looking, have great figures, and are young. So why are so few men willing to choose flight attendants as marriage partners? The reasons are actually quite complex. In the perception of many men, the income of flight attendants seems high, giving the impression that they are financially independent and lead comfortable lives. Therefore, men with average conditions often feel inferior and dare not actively pursue flight attendants. At the same time, flight attendants themselves have relatively high standards for their partners and generally would not choose men with poor financial conditions. This results in an awkward situation where neither side is able to approach the other. In reality, in Chengdu, girls working as flight attendants usually come from relatively good family backgrounds but not exceptionally privileged ones. This is because families with truly superior conditions tend to encourage their children to pursue more stable and socially respected careers, rather than becoming flight attendants. The income of flight attendants is not as high as outsiders imagine, with monthly salaries typically ranging from 10,000 to 20,000 yuan. Especially during the current economic downturn, some flight attendants may earn less than 10,000 yuan. Moreover, the career's upward mobility is quite limited, making it difficult for flight attendants to afford a house and enjoy a highly privileged lifestyle in Chengdu based solely on their income. For this reason, flight attendants often set high expectations for men's assets and income when choosing a spouse. On the other hand, men with high incomes and superior financial conditions may not necessarily prefer flight attendants as partners. The reasons here include the fact that flight attendants usually have lower educational qualifications, with most being graduates of regular universities or colleges. It is relatively rare to find flight attendants from prestigious universities, let alone from 211 or 985 institutions. These high-quality men often have certain expectations regarding education. Additionally, the nature of a flight attendant's job means that their lifestyle is quite irregular, with frequent travels and little consistency. This also makes some outstanding men feel they are not a good match. Another interesting phenomenon about the profession of flight attendants is that the age gap they can accept in a partner is generally much larger than that of women in other professions.
就扮演了一个漂亮空姐，被一个多金男所拒绝了。
Last week, something interesting happened at our matchmaking agency. A beautiful flight attendant born in 1998 was deeply troubled after being rejected by a high-quality, wealthy man. Let me first briefly describe the woman's conditions. She is 1.7 meters tall, has delicate facial features, fair skin, and an exceptionally proportioned figure, with legs so enviable that one might say everything below the head is legs. Additionally, her sweet and pleasant voice, tinged with a coquettish tone, along with a high-level service awareness and decent emotional intelligence cultivated as a flight attendant, make her overall qualities truly outstanding. She reached out to me, saying she was looking for a high-quality partner. Since she had been following my posts on social media for a while, she noticed that I had many high-quality male clients, which intrigued her. She hoped I could help her make a match. To this end, she carefully prepared her profile and sent me a list of the high-quality men among my members, asking me to recommend a few suitable candidates. Honestly, she is indeed very beautiful, and many men showed great interest after seeing her photos and expressed their willingness to get to know her better. Among them was a man born in 1986, 1.78 meters tall, with very privileged family conditions. His family runs a private business, and everyone in the family is engaged in commerce, making them quite wealthy. The man himself is articulate, has a steady personality, and earns an annual income of 2 to 3 million yuan. His house and car were purchased outright, making him a prime example of a high-quality man. I thought their conditions seemed well-matched, so I helped them exchange WeChat contacts, hoping they could learn more about each other. To my surprise, after just one day of interaction, the man directly stated that he did not wish to pursue further. He was also very frank about his reasons. He said, "Look at her social media posts. Although she has set them to be visible for only the past 3 days, these 3 days alone reveal a lot. Everything she posts is about playing golf or having high-end afternoon tea. She just returned to Chengdu for a few days of rest, and her posts are all about these high-end activities. This lifestyle is simply too refined for me. I'm looking for a wife, not a girl who only knows how to enjoy life." He added another point, mentioning that the flight attendant's profile picture was a sexy photo showcasing her figure, which he found slightly revealing and lacking in maturity. He explicitly said, "Any man who sees such a social media setup knows what it implies. No matter how beautiful or goddess-like this woman may be, I wouldn't consider marrying her." After hearing this, I also had some reflections. This incident perfectly illustrates the current mindset of many high-quality men regarding choosing a partner. They don't just value a woman's appearance and figure, but also pay close attention to her lifestyle, values, and suitability for a long-term marriage. Even if the other party has excellent qualities, they will decisively decline if she doesn't meet their expectations for marriage. What do you think of this man's analysis? Does it make sense to you?
为什么空姐在成都的相亲市场几乎无人问津，甚至被人追着嫌弃？
In the matchmaking markets of Chengdu, the profession of flight attendants seems to be unpopular and even somewhat awkward. It's not an exaggeration to describe their situation as hated by thousands and resented by tens of thousands. So, what exactly is the problem? I found that the characteristics of being a flight attendant, which are their advantages, also conceal significant disadvantages. Let's start by discussing the obvious advantages of being a flight attendant. First, their jobs are relatively stable since most of the airlines they work for are state-owned enterprises with generous benefits. More importantly, their appearance is outstanding. Airlines impose strict screening criteria during recruitment, ensuring that their physique, looks, and demeanor are all top-notch. This natural selection undeniably adds to their appeal in the matchmaking market. Additionally, flight attendants generally come from clean family backgrounds, mostly ordinary and traditional families, without complicated histories. Before they start working, they undergo professional centralized training, which makes them not only pleasant in temperament but also highly capable, with emergency handling and medical knowledge. In critical situations, they can remain calm, demonstrating their poise. These qualities make them seemingly excellent candidates in the marriage market. However, despite these advantages, it is perplexing that flight attendants often face rejections in the matchmaking market and are even actively avoided by some men. Why is this? Firstly, many men associate the profession of flight attendants with high consumption or materialistic demands. In the perception of many men, flight attendants seem to aim for partners with superior financial conditions, leading ordinary men to disqualify themselves, thinking they are not good enough. In reality, most flight attendants come from very ordinary or even modest family backgrounds. Families with truly superior conditions usually wouldn't let their daughters become flight attendants. Their income is not as high as the public imagines, generally falling into the lower middle range, with limited career advancement opportunities. Moreover, being a flight attendant is largely a profession that relies on youth, with significant career transition pressure as they age. As a result, they tend to seek partners who can provide a more stable life through marriage, leading to higher expectations for a man's personal conditions. However, for high-quality, high-net-worth men, flight attendants are not the preferred choice as partners, and many even harbor a bias against them. The reasons for this are not difficult to understand. First, the educational background of flight attendants is generally not high, which is a disadvantage for men who value intellectual achievements. Second, the fast-paced nature of their work and their unique lifestyle. Frequent flights, irregular schedules, and mismatched time zones with their partners often make maintaining a synchronized relationship challenging. Due to the nature of their work, they are often physically and emotionally drained, which can lead to mood swings. While they may appear gentle and charming on planes, some exhibit significant emotional contrasts at home, becoming temperamental. Consequently, excellent men may choose to steer clear, while average men feel they cannot handle such partners. As a result, profiles of flight attendants often pile up in matchmaking markets, and their marriage options become increasingly limited. In summary, the advantages and disadvantages of being a flight attendant are highly pronounced. However, in the marriage market, their advantages have not fully translated into competitiveness. Instead, the peculiarities of their profession and societal perceptions have led to numerous challenges. This is why many lament that flight attendants seem destined to face more difficulties and controversies in the matchmaking market.
Many people are curious about the ultimate marriage destinations of flight attendants. Do they really, as rumors suggest, all marry into wealthy families or find exceptionally rich partners? It is well known that Zhou Qi, a professional CBA basketball player, is married to a former flight attendant from Shenzhen Airlines. Similarly, the wife of the famous idol Pan Weibai was once a flight attendant for Shanghai Airlines. These examples seem to reinforce the perception that flight attendants have a higher chance of marrying well, but in reality, these are isolated cases. The professional circle of flight attendants is actually quite limited. They have relatively few opportunities to interact with the outside world in their daily work. As a result, many flight attendants' marriage choices tend to be internalized. This means they often choose partners who also work in the aviation industry, such as male flight attendants, security officers, or aircraft maintenance personnel. Among these, some may choose captains, forming the classic captain and flight attendant pairing that many people recognize. Furthermore, the nature of a flight attendant's work involves irregular shifts and schedules, which can have practical implications for marriage. To balance work and family life, many flight attendants tend to choose partners with stable professions, such as doctors, lawyers, or civil servants. These occupations typically have more predictable schedules, allowing for better support and care in family life. As for whom flight attendants ultimately marry, there is no definitive answer. It all depends on the fate and opportunities of both parties. While the profession of a flight attendant may appear glamorous to outsiders, at its core, they are ordinary workers and members of the workforce who live by their own efforts. In essence, flight attendants are simply given an extra aura of glamour, but their lives, love, and choices are not particularly mysterious. Therefore, regardless of their marriage choices, flight attendants, like everyone else, strive for a better life. This understanding helps people realize that the stories of marrying into wealthy families are the exception. Most flight attendants still choose their partners based on their own circumstances and personal preferences to find their happiness. Do you like these beautiful flight attendants? Feel free to leave your comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. Your support means a lot to us, and we'll continue to bring you even better content. Thank you again for watching, and see you next time.